안녕하십니까?
안녕하세요.
BTN 불교특위 부본일입니다. 좋은 날씨에 좋은 행사, 정말 이런 행사에 참석해 주셔서 정말 감사합니다. 한국은 스님을 뵐 때 삼배하는 것이 예입니다. 스리랑카에서는 스님을 뵐 때 어떻게 인사하는 것이 바른 예입니까?
And not only Sri Lanka, all traditional Buddhist countries, when they respect for the Buddhist monk, they bow 3 times. That is according to the Buddhist tradition and culture. It is not only one country, all over the traditional Buddhist country do that to pay their deepest respect for the Sangha. It is one of the important jewel in that when we call it is in Buddhism triple joyo, that means triple gem. Is Sangha is the third one.
국제적으로 널리 알려진 불교 학자이신데요. 이번 WFB 대회에서 불교 사상을 통한 동서양의 소통이란 주제로 학술 포럼 진행을 하셨죠. 어떤 이야기들이 나왔습니까?
We are here in Korea to have our 26th General Conference of the World Fellowship of Buddhists. First thing is, we are so glad to come to this beautiful country in Korea, and the organizing committee, the Korea Buddhist Chogye Order and the Lay Buddhist Association of Chogye Order and our regional centers together, they organized this conference excellent, and our delegates and they enjoyed their warm hospitality. And during the conference, because we had 2 days of conference already, we had a panel discussion. One thing is academic forum. It was a very important thing to discuss about how Buddhism has affected to the modern world. This forum was 3 hours of discussion. We had scholars, university professors, different parts of the world, and it was very successful. And the second one was to discuss about environmental and ecological protection in according to the Buddhism. It was a wonderful meeting, and Buddhist leaders, they unanimously agreed to encourage not only Buddhists, even non-Buddhists all over the world to preserve this planet Earth. It has been facing threat because Earth has given everything for a human being, but human being going to destroy this beautiful Earth. This decision is one of our expected result. Even our main theme was 21st century Buddhist ecological and environmental phenomena and practice. So therefore that workshop was excellently organized, and we had good results. Besides that, we are going to have some 11 working committees of different areas of Buddhist interest. For example, education, culture, youth education, and humanitarian development, Dhammaratana activity, the propagation of Buddhism, etc., etc. All those activities are going on. Tomorrow evening we are going to present a declaration of Yeosu in 2012 in Korea. And Korean people are really generous to receive this all over the world Buddhist leaders to have this 26th General Conference. So on behalf of the World Fellowship of Buddhists, I like to say thank you very much for the hospitality of Buddhist people in Korea. And we encourage them to continue to preserve their Buddhist identity in this very beautiful country.
현재 WFB 부회장이십니다. WFB는 1950년 5월 25일 스리랑카에서 결성된 범세계 불교 기구입니다. 그렇죠? 그 당시 스리랑카에서 처음 WFB를 결성하게 된 계기가 있으십니까?
Yes, the World Fellowship of Buddhists, founded in Sri Lanka in 1950, one of the leading Buddhist scholar, his name is Gunapala Malalasekara. He was an ambassador and also well-known Buddhist scholar. That is his idea to establish an international Buddhist organization to develop Buddhist unity, Buddhist solidarity, and to work for a peace all over the world. This is the one question. Second thing is, he was taught at that time, Buddhism, even though we have a Theravada Buddhist tradition, that means early Buddhism, and Mahayana Buddhist tradition, Vajrayana Buddhist tradition, and Zen Buddhist tradition, that is only historical divisions. Buddhists, they live together with the harmony. Actually, we can say it is unity in diversity. That Bandasekara was taught at that time to establish this organization to develop Buddhist harmony and unity. And this organization today became a wonderful, extraordinary, international organization. It is doing wonderful job, and I am very happy to say I am a vice president for this organization in France.
한국 대회는 지난 1990년에 이어 올해 두 번째입니다. 제26차 WFB 한국 대회만의 특징이 있다고 생각하십니까?
26th General Conference we are having these days. What I can say, since we are having Korea 2012 Expo, and Buddhist people and the host organization was thinking to have this Buddhist conference also same time. There's several reasons. One reason is this Korea Expo 2012 highlight to preservation of ecology, environment, and planet Earth. This is the one thing. Second thing is the world is facing a number of difficulties and challenges. When the world is suffering and the people have difficulties for the threat for the peace, and what Buddhist people going to do? This is the one question. Second thing is we are having and we are facing all over the world a various kind of crisis. We have economic crisis, we have political crisis, we have religious and spiritual crisis, and we have territorial crisis even. These things are making human societies imbalanced and make to afraid to people to live with the peace. Therefore, WFB was thinking this year in 2012 in Korea, while we are having our general conference, to discuss all kind of issues, because Buddha's teaching is still valid to resolve to all kind of difficulties and to make a green path and to create a pure land where people can live with full of peace and happiness.
대회 때마다 결의문을 채택하고 유엔과 유네스코 등 지구촌 곳곳에 메시지를 전달해 왔습니다. 이번 대회 결의문은 어떤 내용을 담고 있는지 알고 싶습니다.
This year declaration, actually we didn't still prepared. We are going to present it tomorrow during the our closing ceremony. When we are preparing a declaration, so we have to get the results of a different workshop, and we have some special keynote speeches, and also we have academic forum and business forum. All those activities, they will prepare their respective reports. From this report, we will get information and ideas, and after that we will prepare the declaration and we will present it tomorrow evening.
현재 스리랑카는 명실공히 남방불교의 핵심 성지로서 인정받고 있지 않습니까? 전 세계 불교도의 순례지로서도 각광을 받고 있는데요. 스리랑카 불교에 대해서 좀 소개를 부탁드리겠습니다.
Sri Lanka, this is the country where I was born. This is my motherland. Sri Lanka is one of the leading Buddhist nations in the world, especially for Theravada Buddhism. The Buddhism came to Sri Lanka 3rd century before Christ. The son of the Emperor Ashoka, Mahamahinda, he introduced Buddhism to Sri Lanka. And the first time in Sri Lankan island, a Buddhist ordination have given to the Sri Lankan royal family, the son of Emperor Ashoka, 3rd century before Christ. And the second, when monastic orders established, a Sri Lankan king was thinking to establish a bhikkhuni ordination. To have a bhikkhuni ordination, and Mahamahinda, he requested from his father, for Emperor Ashoka, to send his daughter, that being Mahamahinda's sister, Sanghamitta. So Sanghamitta came to Sri Lanka with the origin, Bodhisattva of the Bodhi tree where Buddha was enlightened, and she gave ordination to the royal family. That was the place bhikkhuni ordination was established. So from that day, Sri Lanka became as an educational center, because 5th century AD, Sri Lanka has even Tripitaka was translated to original Pali language to Sinhala. And Sri Lanka has established that is called Mahavihara. Thousand of monks, they were educated that center. Not only that, at that time, even Sri Lankan traditional Buddhist education was developed. The neighboring countries, therefore, from that day until today, Sri Lanka is maintaining the unbroken Theravada record and preservation and protection of this tradition. Therefore, Sri Lanka, of course, we have Thailand, we have Cambodia, we have Laos, we have Myanmar, all those countries are Theravada tradition. But Sri Lanka maintains its authentic way of practice religious life.
스리랑카 불교에 대해서 한국 국민들의 관심이 커지고 있습니다. 스리랑카 불교의 특징은 무엇보다도 빨리 경전에 전승해서 찾아야 된다고 합니다. 어떤 의미로 받아들이면 좋을까요?
Yes, I think not only Korean, even many Westerners, they like to learn Theravada Buddhism, because without understanding Theravada Buddhism and Pali scriptures, it is very difficult to understand what is the message of the Buddha. Because the Buddha was taught in Pali language. So Sri Lanka practiced in the Pali tradition. Therefore, people are no Korean, no Chinese, Japanese, even European people, they like to learn first Theravada Buddhism, and then they will develop to the Mahayana Buddhism and Vajrayana Buddhism. That is the foundation of Buddhism, we can say, is a Theravada Buddhism.
스리랑카에서 스님으로 산다는 것은 어떤 의미고요? 또 수행자의 역할은 무엇이라고 생각하십니까?
What is the role of Buddhist practitioner? I think Buddhism is the way of life. The people who know Buddhism very well, they are the happiest people in the planet. And Buddhism has a solution of the difficulties and suffering of the life. And Buddhism and give answers to the question, whatever you meet your daily life. Buddhism always given the freedom of thought and to freedom to, by practicing Buddhism, and it is Buddhist thought what it says, to develop the wisdom. The development wisdom means to you don't have any kind of illusion or wrong thoughts or faith. So that make people to more and more confidence to live with happiness. Therefore, I think to becoming Buddhist mean they are looking for the way to be happy of their life.
한국 스님들은 여름과 겨울 사찰에서 안거 수행을 하고 있습니다. 스리랑카에서도 전통 수행법이 있죠. 스리랑카에서는 어떤 수행 문화가 있는지 정말 궁금합니다.
Sri Lanka, we are going to have even normally one retreat that we call Vasana Kala. That means 3 months. The monks have to stay at one place, not to go out. This happened not only summer, because Korea, you don't have rainy season. You have only winter season and summer. And during the time of the Buddha, we have a rainy season. So rainy season, monk cannot go out because the heavy rain and even flood. Therefore, Buddha advised to the Buddhist monk to remain their places and temple and to practice meditation and to learn more and more the doctrine. This tradition is continuing even today. Everywhere in the traditional Buddhist countries, we call it is retreats. Of course, some countries, For example, the European countries, even Korea and Japan, where they have winter season, they have retreats in winter season and even summer season. But Sri Lanka, we have only one season.
스님께서는 소로본 대학에서 석박사 학위를 취득하신 불교 철학의 전문가이시고 유럽 불교를 창시하신 분으로 알려져 있습니다. 언어도 다르고 또 종교도 다른 유럽 사람들에게 어떻게 불교를 알리실 생각을 하셨는지 정말 궁금합니다.
Buddhism became, because you are talking about my education, of course. I educated in the French University, Sorbonne University, one of well-known university for the philosophy. And French scholars, even my professors, they asked me to find out research on no soul doctrine. There's a very typical and very hard subject to find out what is the soul. And in accordance to Buddhist tradition, and it is called anatta. Buddhism not believe there's an eternal soul. Therefore, we say it is anatta. This is my thesis. Now you are talking about you are asking about how Buddhist development in Europe. I think Buddhism is one of the very rapidly developing spiritual tradition in Europe. But before talk about other European countries, I would like to say about France. France is one of the important country Buddhism has developed in, because I have been the president of French Buddhist Union and also founding member of this national organization, because it is a necessity of increasing of Buddhist people and Buddhist population. And Buddhism came to France 6th century AD. From at that time until today, in according to the statistical information, more than 150,000 people are considered as a Buddhist. But more than 5 to 8 million people, they are sympathetic for the Buddhism. The only reason is why French people and European people want to become a Buddhist. Buddhism have given more opportunities to think and not to become a prisoner of a religion, and also to accept with critical and analytical understanding of the doctrine. Today you can be a Buddhist. If you don't want, tomorrow you can be a Christian or Muslim. There's no any kind of rules and regulation. Until your death, you need to be a Buddhist. This freedom of thought and the freedom of to exercise and to understand and critical understanding of Buddhism give more opportunities to attach to the European people to become Buddhist. The second thing is the Buddhist message of non-violence, respect for the peace, respect for the other religion. All those things given more important to the Western people to embrace Buddhism and to learn more and more to understand this Asian philosophy.
30여 년 동안 유럽에서 불교를 개척하시고 계셨는데 어려운 점도 참 많으셨을 거라고 생각이 듭니다. 그 중에서 가장 힘들었던 점이 어떤 것이 있습니까?
Yes, that is correct. Because we live in a countries, the Buddhism is very new for them. They can't understand sometimes who are the Buddhist monks, and their behavior sometimes for them very difficult to understand. Why they dress like that clothes, why they shaven hair, and this kind of monastic practice sometimes they can't understand. This is the one thing. Second thing is, for them it is very difficult to understand the Asian way of practice, because Western people, including France, they like to have Buddhism understand as a philosophy, not as a religion. Because of France, now we have more than 120 Buddhist centers and more than 350 or 60 Buddhist associations. Because you are recording this television program here in Korea, I like to say there's a Korean Buddhist temple in Paris. There was a very leading Buddhist monk. I don't know my pronunciation correct or not. His name is Most Venerable Papcham Sunyim. Papcham Sunyim. He is the founder of this monastery. It is called Kilsansa Monastery in Paris. Yeah, this center is now very active. We have a very young monk, Korean monk. He dressed always Korean Buddhist dress. His name is Haewon Sunyim. And he is doing a good work to give encouraging to the Korean Buddhist people and to come to the temple and to read the Buddhist text, to have a ritual and to have a sermon, and also, of course, to have a kimchi, to have a lunch with them, to remember Korea and Korean culture. And this temple is also very active in France.
유럽에서 한국 불교의 위치는 어떤 위치인가요, 스님?
I may say, not Korean Buddhism. I don't want to say Korean Buddhism. For the Buddhism, we have more opportunities to develop. There's more rooms to develop Buddhism in the West. But we are, for example, sometimes people ask me, you are Sri Lankan, are you practicing Theravada Buddhism? And my answer is always, Buddha is not Theravada, Buddha is not Mahayana, Buddha is not Vajrayana, Buddha is not Zen. Buddha didn't establish such a kind of school. I am a Buddhist, I am a Buddhist monk. Therefore, I think we need not to introduce different kind of ethnic Buddhism to European countries. We have to introduce the Buddhism to understand the great man. This year we are celebrating all over the world 2600 years of the enlightenment of the Buddha. We have to introduce his teaching, how Buddha's teaching can be applied to resolve and overcome difficulties and crises and to create a better society where people can enjoy peace and happiness. Therefore, I am not personally agree to develop ethnic Buddhism or different kind of tradition to European countries. Of course, you can have Korean Buddhism, Japanese Buddhism, Sri Lankan Buddhism, Thai Buddhism, whatever. But we have to teach Buddhism and doctrine to them, not to teach them our cultural behavior or cultural way of practice Buddhism to them. I think Western people, including French people, they are not much interested for that. They would like to know what is the Buddhism.
유럽에서 불교를 포교하는 중요한 역할을 하고 계십니다. 우리 한국 불교를 유럽에 알리려면 어떤 노력들을 해야 하는지 가르쳐 주십시오.
Korean Buddhism to develop in Europe, I think the first thing is Korean monks have to learn European languages. This is the first thing. If they talk only Korean language in Western countries, they will meet only Korean people. They can't introduce this Buddhism to the Western people. This is one of the barriers and challenges to them. This is the first thing. Second thing is they have to integrate for the European culture. Because without integrate for the European culture and to better understand the mentality of the European people, they can't develop this Buddhism to them. Otherwise, it will become, we can say, ethnic centers. They have many temples here and there. France, I think, one Kilsansa, and then the 1 or 2 centers. And many other countries, I heard Korean temples are there. Buddhist monk, I think the lead and responsible great masters of Chogyo order, they listen to me, my message here. I think Korea and Chogyo order have to get a very important initiative to Buddhist monk to give higher education and also to learn foreign languages and to train them how to propagate Buddhism. That is very important. Otherwise, they can't accomplish their duties as a Buddhist monk. Even though they stay in Europe, they stay physically in Europe, mentally they are in Korea.
현대 산업 자본주의의 한계를 극복할 수 있는 대안이 불교라는 인식에 확산되어 가고 있는 추세입니다. 그런 의미에서 이 시대의 불교는 어떤 역할을 해야 한다고 보십니까?
Yes. Yes, that is very correctly you put the question. Because recently we have been facing the financial crisis, including now Europe. We have Greece and we have Spain and Portugal and several countries. We have facing this problem. Why this financial crisis happened? Because of the greediness. The human beings, they have unlimited desire. Because of this desire, the world community has been facing various kind of problems. So Buddha and Buddhism not encourage Buddhist people to develop lobha, that means desire. But human nature is unlimited desire. I think if people understand the universal phenomena of impermanence, there's nothing permanent. And impermanent will lead to the suffering. And the suffering will lead. There's no thing to say, I am and myself. That is called no self. If people and world community and policymakers and economics, if they can understand the impermanence, the universal phenomena of impermanence, I think many world crises can be reduced. I think better understanding of Buddhism means we can create a better society. Buddha knew this all kind of crisis. That is the reason this meeting in Korea, 26th General Conference, we are talking about ecological and environmental preservation. Buddha is the foremost teacher who loved to preserve the nature. He was born in the forest, the Lumbini Park. He enlightened under the Bodhi tree. He died in Kusinara. And his whole life, he was lived very beautiful mountain area or river bank. And not only that, he established the rules and regulations for the Buddhist monk, saying that not to cut trees. Respect for the trees, saying that trees also have a nature of vital forces to be resist and to live. 6th century before Christ, an enlightened man, when he said, don't destroy the ecological and environmental facilities, don't cut the tree, mean when destruction of the nature, that means destruction of the human facilities, destruction of the earth, planet earth. Therefore, many scientists, now they are going to look into that teaching of the Buddha, because he has seen that before 25 centuries.
끝으로 한국 불자들에게 또 저희 BTN 시청자들에게 공부를 할 때 도움이 될 만한 좋은 말씀을 부탁드립니다.
I would like to say during the 26th General Conference of the World Fellowship of Buddhists in this very, very beautiful country of Korea, to say Korea and Korean people are enriched their civilization from Buddhism. Korean people are the people of Shilla. Korean people are the people of Pekche. They are the people sculptured that beautiful Sakuram Buddha. That means Korea had a great Buddhist history and civilization. I think I would like to say the Korean Buddhists to preserve this Buddhist cultural heritage and identity, and please pass to this great civilization and this Buddhist identity your children and grandchildren, because they can be enjoy this great civilization and they will profit to be a better citizen and to create a better world. Therefore, Korean people can't separate this wonderful and great civilization. I think this conference in Korea gave them a kind of thought to understand we are Korean, our grandparents are Buddhists, their parents are Buddhists. Several centuries this great civilization existed. That is the witness of all these Pulgupsa, Hyensa, Tundosa, all those Buddhist monuments, many temples. I visited there. Unforgettable memories what I have. I would like to say, please preserve this Buddhist cultural heritage and give and pass this Buddhist cultural heritage your children and their children. We can be proud of this civilization, because Buddhism must not no more an Asian religion. It is a universal religion.
정말 감사합니다.
감사합니다. 감사합니다.